If one doesn't return to normal life quickly, then the terrorists have won. We've had the London transit bombings and now these, and I think it's in the British nature to try and return to normality as quickly as possible. Both IS, Daesh and Al-Qaeda have been threatening attacks, and IS in particular has been promoting the idea that a terrorist can attack using a vehicle, a hostile vehicle attack, or can attack by knives, using a knife. So you just go and buy a knife and attack. And this has been constantly promoted for more than a year now. So it's no surprise that these attacks have been carried out in this way. The attack in Manchester, however, was something different. That was an explosives attack. And there, I think what we have is one person operating on his own, but with technical assistance, which he probably got when he went back to Libya, and probably from IS as well. But certainly the type of attacks that we saw in London on Westminster Bridge in March, and then again in May, again last week on London Bridge, are what they have been promoting. So it comes as no surprise. And you saw from the reaction of the police that they were trained to deal with this sort of contingency. What we had with this particular group that acted last week was that they were members of a particular organization, the Al-Muhajirun group, which has a long history of radicalizing its members, many of whom have then gone on to commit acts of terrorism. So I think that's the crucial issue in this case, that he came to England and was radicalized by this group and joined this little cell which went on to commit this act of terrorism. Any country which has a very large Muslim population of recent origin is going to have this problem. And it doesn't occur with the first generation, it usually occurs with the second generation, because while they might have been educated in the country, they subsequently find it difficult to fit in. Racism in society prevents them getting jobs, or they feel a disconnect. They're torn between two different cultures, the Muslim culture of their country of origin or the secular culture of the country which they're now living in. And this dissonance between two different cultures can set up this sort of radical, or makes them easier prey for radicals to influence. All European countries have these watch lists, these lists of suspects. The UK has a list which is alleged to be, or said to be, something in the region of 20,000 people. It's enormous, of which about 3,000 are regarded as being potential terrorists. We also have 800 people who'd gone as volunteers to Syria and Iraq. Some of them are coming back, some have been killed there. Not all will be terrorists, but a proportion will be, which means that at any one time there are literally thousands of potential terrorists. There is a European exchange system, so the Schengen system allows European states to exchange names of their watch lists and to alert countries if they see somebody leaving their country. It also does a lot more. There are several European agreements which allow now a completely free exchange of information, as well as joint investigations, cross-border investigations. The reality is that there are now in place very good European programs to exchange police information, intelligence, forensic information, judicial cooperation. All of these are in the framework of European Commission agreements, or the Schengen agreements, or the Prüm agreement, which exchanges forensic information. So there is a free exchange. But there's also bilateral contacts between one police force, one security service, and another. And most European security services and police forces have officers stationed in other European capitals. At any one time, I know that the British may have up to 50 officers stationed abroad in other European police forces, and I assume that other European police forces have their officers stationed in London. I know that when I used to go there in Scotland Yard, there was a big room set up for all the foreign police officers to sit and operate from. The issue is the overwhelming amount of information, the overwhelming amount of suspects, and finding which one and prioritizing that case is the art and the difficult thing. And whilst we know that they've been successful in dozens of cases of preventing terrorist attacks, they only have to fail once for all the criticism to be made public. Laptops are being banned on aeroplanes because there's real intelligence that terrorist groups have developed the technology which will enable them to build a bomb that fits within a laptop. It's not because people don't want laptops on planes, it's because there's real intelligence to suggest that this technology is now available. My experiences of the Italian police in recent months, and I've been in Rome working with Italian police, is that they are very open to new ideas and to new ways of working, but also they're very aware of the threats and that they need to challenge these threats. And they're very aware of the reactions to migration and increase in hate crime and the direct connection between extremism and terrorism. So I think they understand the problems and the fact that Italy has foiled some terrorist actions in recent years, and the fact that it's actually had very few terrorist acts, I think is testament to the efficiency of the Italian police and security services. I think a country which is multicultural and open in its outlook is going to integrate migrants much more successfully than a monocultural society. In other words, a society where there's never been migration, where everybody is of the same religion and the same outlook. They would find it difficult to integrate people coming in from outside. Of course, it depends on the quantity as well. But I think that Latin countries, the Mediterranean countries, because they have been colonized and attacked and visited for millennia by other people, I think they are fairly open and accepting of other people. They may be Catholic states or other religious dominated states. Nevertheless, I think that they have open cultures and welcoming cultures, and that's important.